Hello, friends. Happy Friday. How is everyone doing this Friday? I hope your weekend's off to a fantastic start. Mine surely is because I'm here with y'all. So great to see everyone. I am smoking some Haunted Bookshop in the Matches Memorial Friday 7 Ellie, as is the tradition here on the Friday night live stream. And let's see who we've got checking in so far. Looks like we got a nice crowd. There's Patrick Grant. Hello, Patrick. Jeffrey Feinberg. Critics View. Pirate Frog 333. David Bookshop. Not to be confused with the Haunted One. There's Jim F. Big Dave. Has been and will be once again. How you doing, Has been? Sorry, I'm in a mood. Papa Bear. Hello, Papa Bear. Good to see you, my friend. Signalman Tony from Rhode Island. Rich B1. Bona Piper. Happy Friday indeed. There we go. How's life? What a question there, Robbie. What a question. Music died. I hope it did. There shouldn't be any music right now, Jeffrey. Patrick's going to go to the New York Pipe Club barbecue tomorrow. Oh, that's fantastic, Patrick. I hope you have a great time. I am, as I think you all know, I am just back from the Columbus Pipe Show. Well, not just back. I got back last Sunday, but it was a great time. I drove my wife's spooky car across 3 states, so I can tell you more about that. And I'm not gonna do much of a pipe show recap tonight because we got other things to get into. Well, not really, but I'm gonna save that for Sunday. So my Sunday video will be all about the wonderful time I had in Columbus, and it really was a wonderful time. Got to meet some great folks, got to see some old friends, make some new friends. It was great seeing Papa Bear there, and so many others. So really good time. I'll say this on Sunday, and I said it before, but if you haven't been to a pipe show, get to a pipe show. It's a great time. Rich B1, I think they're referring to the opening montage music being music free. There was no music with that. Uh-oh. I'll have to check into that. Thanks for letting me know. That's weird. Okay. Computers, what you gonna do? Jeff Lowry, happy Friday to you, sir. Jim F's got his first Rossi 8320 yesterday, and he loves it. Good for you, Jim. There's Doug Owen. Good evening, there, Doug. Wayne Hill Breyer, good to see you, buddy. So, let's get this out of the way so you can all laugh at me. It's the last can. Yes, the last can of Iron Hill Orange Creamsicle Milkshake beer. I had to drink it eventually, right? Pyrofrog333 wants to know how to find the schedule for pipe shows. Well, as far as I know, there's only 3 regular shows right now. Well, no, wait, that's not true. Forget what I just said. That's a complete lie. There's the big shows. There's Chicago. There's Vegas. I haven't been to those, and they run on a schedule. Then there's what I'm assuming are smaller shows, but since I haven't been to Chicago or Vegas, I don't honestly know. So there's Muletown, there's Columbus, there, at least for this year, is Richmond, and the relatively new one in Albany, the Capitol Land Pipe Show. And they all run pretty much on a schedule. So once you know when they are, so the Columbus show is usually always in August. So you know to look for it in August. That's about the best I can do. I just stopped a little early. Okay, thanks, Jeffrey. I'll have to look into that. Lord Hogarth, hello. Evening to you, sir. Texas is another one. Thank you, Rich B1. So did Mike get hooked on any collectibles at Columbus? Well, Doug, not really, no. But I'll go over all the stuff on Sunday. Didn't really get hooked on anything. Didn't buy a pipe. Did not buy a pipe. I was tempted. There you go. Patrick's got him. And usually, guys, help me. What is it Smoking Pipes that has a form, and they put out like a weekly email? Might be Smoking Pipes. I get this email from one of the online tobacco vendors that usually let you know when they're coming up. So Robbie, that was probably a completely unhelpful answer, but it's the best I got. Smooth Piper, how you doing, Peter? Happy Friday to you, sir. The Texas show is in November, says Papa Bear. Stanley Smith, how you doing, buddy? Rossi Paul with Sir Walter Raleigh, I guess. So Rich B1 saying Texas is November 9th, 2024. There you go. Palm, good to see you, buddy. I know, Robbie, you do. You do got to get to one. So I've got the go-ahead from the missus to go to the Richmond show, which is in mid-ish September. I think the second week of September, and that's a relatively short drive. So I think I will do that. So if any of y'all are looking forward to the Richmond show, I'll look forward to seeing you there. Ahmed Salman, good to see you, my friend. It doesn't taste at all like an orange creamsicle milkshake, just so you know. Cypress Piper, good evening, sir. Michael Case. No, I'm an idiot. I completely missed Carter Hall Day, but I'm gonna have some Carter Hall tonight. That's what my second pipe's gonna be. Lymphoma, hello. Good to see you. Um, yeah, Patrick, I've heard rumor that this might be the last Richmond show, which would be unfortunate, but I guess we'll see. So I had a beer mishap last night. I went out to dinner. So on every other Thursday night, I go to the chiropractor. And when I come home from the chiropractor, I go right past this pub that we used to go to all the time. And then it closed for like almost 2 years. And now it's reopened under different management, different name and everything. And I really just like going there. Beowulf and Miss Kathy, hello. Good to see you guys. And there's Dryfly Fisher 11. John Amadon. Good to see all of you. And Lymphoma had some Carter Hall this morning. So you're in Carter Hall week. So at least we got the week right, right? We'll get to Carter Hall, I promise. So anyway, I like going to this place. It's just got some good memories. And they have a bar. It's like, a square bar. There's TV screens in every, but you can see the TV, and they usually play the Phillies game or something like that. And so when my wife and I go, we sit at a table. But when I go, I like to sit at the bar because I can watch the Phillies or whoever is playing, and I can have a beer and a burger or something like that. So last night I stopped on the way home, and I ordered the Victory, which I thought was a lager. It wasn't a lager. And this thing, it tasted like a grapefruit had adult time with a Christmas tree. That's all I can say. It was very unpleasant. But it apparently had a very high alcohol content. So by the time I got halfway through, I was really enjoying the Phillies game. Of course, they were winning. So. Flint Hill Briar, I kind of wonder if a certain guy in Kentucky might make a special point of going to the pipe show in the former capital city of the USA. Or CSA. Capital city, CSA? Yeah, that must be a mistake. I think I know what you mean, Flint Hill, but I don't know who the guy in Kentucky is. Life with a pipe. Listening while driving. Fantastic. Just drive safely there, buddy. Oh, it was an IPA, Cypress Piper. It was a very, very hoppy IPA. But I have to admit that the thing that the IPA people got right is the, I hate to say this because it's going to sound really sleazy, but the alcohol content of the IPAs is right, because you can have one IPA and it's like you had four lagers. It's wonderful. And at this bar, at least, it costs the same. So hey, I do get around, Michael. I well, I like, so I've talked about this before. I like these controlled micro social interaction type things. Like I like going to flea markets because I get to talk to people, but it's very controlled. Like I can walk away at any time, and we have a topic and all that. It's the same thing at a bar. If you're going to have any conversation at a bar, it's either going to be with the bartender, and that's about your drink or something. And if you want to go beyond that, you can. or it's going to be with the person on either side of you, and you're probably going to talk about whatever sport is on the TV. And I'm comfortable with all of that. And you can just be quiet, and they'll go away. CSA is Atlanta and USA is Philly, but Mike knows that. Now I do, Doug, but I was very confused. Oh, Rich B1, you don't want that. He was at the Columbus show for about 5 minutes. Yeah, that's pretty much right, Rich B1. That's what it tasted like. But it did have a kick. Voodoo Ranger, I've heard of that, Papa Bear. I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan. Hey, if you got a Carter Hall cigar, good enough there, Bear Wolf. And or Miss Kathy. I don't know which of you's got the cigar, but hopefully you're enjoying it. Ah, Michael, that's very clever. Yes. I always found it a bit awkward though. You go out on a date to a movie, and although most of the time when I did that, I was much younger, and we had a movie theater that was about, well, it was in town, so we could walk to it. So usually I'd wind up, it would be a girl somewhere in the near vicinity, and we'd walk to the movie. So we'd have time to talk before we sat in the dark for 2 hours. Yes, Patrick, I saw Jim had a video the other day that he is back from the hospital. Hope he's doing well. Said he's not really sure what happened, but hopefully he's on the mend. Ah, thank you, Critics View. Yes, I did. I surprised the heck out of myself in the slow smoke competition. I thought I was worried I'd be the first one out, but fortunately Greg Tunnel was there. Uh, poor Greg, he couldn't get the pipe lit. It was bad condition, so it was outside because it's outside at Columbus, and it was windy, and you have to light with matches. Now, they did change the rules a bit, so you had as many matches as you needed, and you had, I think, 3 minutes to light the pipe. Normally, you have two matches in 1 minute, so they did change things, um, but it was still really tough, and Greg just couldn't get his going, so he went out first. But I actually, there was like 14 entered, I think, and I wound up being third to the last, and the second to the last only beat me by a few seconds. And then, oh no, Ilva fell down behind me. And then, oh, and I dropped my camera. Shouldn't be displaying Ilva like that anyway. Poor thing. Uh, Excuse me. Yeah, so the guy after me only lasted a few seconds longer, and then the first place guy was done within another minute or so. So, it was pretty darn close, and I was really kind of shocked that I did that well. It was a lot of fun. Big Country Briar, how you doing, Cole? Smoking N Street from Georgetown Tobacco in an LCS. Oh, Smoking N Street. Okay, that's the tobacco. Gotcha. In an LCS. Fantastic, Cole. Hope you're enjoying it. Ron Hardcrackers, how you doing? Been sick for the last two. Oh man. Oh, sorry to hear that, Ron. Rest up, buddy. Rest up and get lots of fluids. Oh, good Lord, Doug. $50 cigars in the U.S. You can get a $50 cigar up in Canada with no problem. Yes, Couch, Ilva was behind me and I took her down. I'm sorry. Here, I'll put her back up. I don't know how to do this. Ah, you know what? There's Ilva. I don't know how to put her back up without standing up, and I don't want to stand up. Yeah, Lefty came in second. Lefty 68, I think. His name is Steve. And yes, the guy who came in first was two-time Chicago champion. So yeah, it was some tough competition. Did I have any strategy? Asked Michael Case. To not let the doing things like trying to count. Like, okay, I'll count five before I puff again, and that seemed too fast. And I thought, oh, I'll count 10, and then it wasn't puffing as much, and I thought, oh no, it's going to go out. So, but in the end, it was just trying to slow down as much as possible. Nothing else. Mushroom leg. So glad you survived the Ohio tornadoes, buddy. That I hope everything's okay. Hey, Doug, 50 minutes isn't bad. Oh, Joita, how you doing? Thank you. Yes, it was a lot of fun. Oh, Ron, I know that feeling, man. I hope you're feeling better soon. Doug, I think it depends a lot on the pipe and the tobacco. Um, we had, oh, that's the other thing. Probably the reason I did so well was some god awful Balkan. So I didn't want to smoke it. If they would have given me a bowl of haunted bookshop, I'd be out in 5 minutes. Um, but yeah, I think it depends a lot on the pipe and the tobacco. Couch, I did buy some stuff. I'm going to talk about it on Sunday, but I did not buy any pipes. Uh, I don't know if he was from Philly, Patrick, and I don't know his last name. He does go by Les. Um, he appeared, I didn't talk to him, but he appeared to be an Asian American gentleman. Uh, Probably, I don't want to give his age because I'm really bad at guessing ages, but he's probably around the same age as me, maybe a little younger or a little older. Yeah, Lefty was sitting right next to me, and he was intimidating me with that, telling me how he went an hour and a half. It came when he won, and but he was really helpful because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know anything about how this was, and he explained some of the rules to me. The rules, by the way, it was a 10 printed page rule book. And it's unbelievable how detailed these rules are. And it's things you never would have, at least I never would have guessed. Like, first off, you can only use their tamper. So they give you the pipe, they give you the tamper, and they give you the tobacco. And you have 3 minutes to pack the pipe, and anything that's not in the pipe at the end of 3 minutes goes away. And then you have 1 minute to light it, and then you can only use their tamper, which is just a piece of wooden dowel. And if when you're tamping, and I don't understand this rule, you are not allowed to take the pipe out of your mouth when you're tamping. So if you do this, you're out. Um, Kind of interesting. They were brand new pipes, Pum. They were brand new Missouri Meerschaum Country Gentlemen that had special logos on them for the contest. Often it's Briar. I think typically it's Briar, but for this one it was Cobb's. DJ, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. That's the gent. Okay, Patrick. Yeah, he seemed like a really nice guy. I didn't get a chance to chat with him any after the contest, but and he also, it was interesting because I would have thought the guy that was the two-time champion would have been very serious and intent about it, but he just seemed to be relaxed and smoking a pipe. I kept looking over at him to see if I could pick up any tips, and he was just smoking his pipe. It was you wouldn't have even known he was in a contest. And yes, Michael. White Ash Piper squared with one of my favorite jokes. I'll give you my second favorite joke that's very similar to that. One eye said to the other, between you and me, something smells. It was uh, it was remarkable how detailed the rules were, Christian. Detailing the construction of the pipe and when you were allowed to drink and what you were allowed to drink. Um, there was whether or not you were allowed to blow through the pipe. Um, if you could use a filter or not. So it just unbelievable. So the prize for first place was a trophy, and I believe they get a seat at the Chicago competition. And then the prizes after that were T-shirts and tobacco. Aloha to you, White Ash Piper Squared. Flint Hill, you might. I mean, if that's true, you might be fantastic at it. I'm typically done in 20 minutes or so. So, and this, by the way, the best time I think was 39 minutes. I don't remember. I think I wrote it down, but yeah, I think I was like 37:30, and the next guy was like 37:45, and the last guy was like 39. So. Oh, Rich B1. Oh, and here it's not even stupid joke night. My goodness. Yeah, you know what was funny, Christian? So they were Missouri Meerschaums, and of course they all have the filter in, and they say, okay, you can look over the pipes, and if you want to take the filters out, you can. And simultaneously, 14 guys tore the stem off, took the filter, and threw it into the middle of the table. It was kind of funny how much contempt there was behind that task. You didn't have to use all the tobacco foam, but you could not add it later. So whatever you had in the first 3 minutes, that was it. So if you had anything left, it was lost. Okay, White Ash, I'm not going to read that one. Uh, I didn't say it wasn't funny. I'm just not going to read it. But probably the best thing about the contest was really just the fun of it, the camaraderie. The sitting around with a group of guys that you may or may not know, and getting to know them a little bit. We didn't talk much, but I did run into a couple of them later at the show, and they said, hey, you did all right, and so we got to got to meet some people that I probably wouldn't have met otherwise. Yeah, Doug, it's a strange rule. I don't understand it. I'm a fan couch. Brown Irish X. Yes, that does have a bit of a kick to it there, Cody. Good to see you, Groovin' Piper. Yeah, Palm, that's why I put my fingers over the bowl a lot, because you can, if you feel the pipe starting to go out, you can usually kickstart it just by restricting the airflow, and the tamper can do the same thing. It just speeds up the air going through the burning tobacco, so you get a more rapid burn. It's funny, somebody commented on one of my videos recently. You get these comments sometimes, and this I don't even remember what video it was, but it was probably something that was several years old. And you can tell it's just some random person going by and they see it and they just feel the need to, I don't know, vomit something into the keyboard. And this person said, yeah, like you're going to be able to smoke a pipe when you put your fingers over the top of it like that. And I thought, do I answer this or do I? So I explained it to him, you know. Maybe it wasn't just some guy trying to be a jerk and he really wanted to know, but it's funny. Sometimes I'll go months without getting comments on an old video, and then there'll be this like rash of comments that comes in. So I don't know if YouTube suddenly decides to start pushing my videos a little bit more for some reason. I got a friend who's making YouTube videos in a completely different area, and I won't go into that, but an area that has a lot more viewers than pipe smoking. And he's relatively new to it, but he's doing quite well. Uh, so like his first week, he had I think it was 3,000 subscribers in the first week. Now it's a much larger audience, so he's still a very small fish in a big pond. But compared to what we went through, it took me a long time to get my first 100, for goodness sakes. And he'll call me up and say, "Yeah, I don't understand this. Why does YouTube do this and do that?" I'm like, nobody knows. It's a mystery. Palm, you're thinking of a bellows. I think I have something on my screen here that I can't get off. Oh, dummy. I'm here trying to scrape the little cursor off the screen. It's a little finger when it's over the chat, and I thought it was a spot. I don't have my glasses on in my defense. "47 minutes. That's fantastic, Patrick." That is odd, Flint Hill. I don't remember that. Although that was not my favorite of the Disney movies. I remember seeing it as a little kid and being a little frightened of that one. It was Pinocchio, for those of you that aren't reading along. Rich, those people live streaming themselves playing a video game are making a lot of money for some reason. I don't know why. I've come across some of those videos and just for the heck of it, turn them on, and I can't last 2 or 3 minutes. They're just boring. Then they change things, but they probably just change things very frequently. 2 hours, my goodness, Patrick. Life with a pipe. Okay, I remember. I remember the handle J Nut. Well, that's fantastic. So, folks, check out Life with a Pipe. He's just put up his first few videos, and we should definitely support that. And I will try to remember to check that out tomorrow. Yeah, it was a darker and more violent tale for sure, Flint Hill. Like watching the monkeys in the zoo. Yeah, Wenzel's World. Not familiar with that one poem. Steve and Glenna, good to see you guys. You can't be late. You're just in time. I met Steve and his wife Glenna at the Columbus Pipe Show, and we had a great time. It's fantastic hanging out with you folks. So great to see you. And there's Phil Rivera. How you doing, Phil? Okay, I'll have to take a look at Wenzel's World then, poem. Thank you. That was a good thing to tell him, Doug. Although apparently chess has become popular again, and this is the weirdest thing. So I haven't talked to him personally about this, so this is all like third-hand knowledge on my part, but I have a nephew that apparently is now doing chess instructions online. So he's being paid to teach people to play chess online. So it's popular enough that people are actually paying to get chess lessons, which is great. The problem is he doesn't really know very much about chess. So I don't know how this is working. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. What a fine movie, Rich B1. And I watched a movie uh, while I was eating dinner tonight because I'm all by myself. So, I watch TV when I eat because my wife abandoned me. So, I've never seen this movie before, and you're all going to tell me I'm an idiot for not watching it sooner, but it wasn't very good. It was Tommy Boy with, what's his name? The big guy, Chris Farley, and the little guy, David Spade. Um, and the reason I bring it up is, as I was watching it, I thought this feels an awful lot like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Uh, but it wasn't funny. I laughed once. I laughed once. I'm sorry, Rich. I do not think it's great. I thought it was a pretty Awful movie. I mean, it was an okay story, but it wasn't funny. Yeah, I know, Doug. I'm guessing that this is some sort of a scam company or something that I don't know. Actually, Big Man in a Little Coat was not what made me laugh, Cole. Although I'll admit I smiled a little bit to that one. What made me laugh was when the woman stood up in the boat and yelled at those kids. That just struck me as really funny for some reason. Yeah, it was very slapsticky, but I don't mind that, Rich. This just wasn't good. It was forced. It was like, oh, we got these two guys and they're on Saturday Night Live and they're funny. Let's put them in a movie and have them do that stuff. And I just didn't think it worked. But, made money. Pondering with Pepe's Pipes, you can't be late, buddy. You're just in time. Good to see you. Yeah, I was hoping to get a good laugh, Michael, and it just didn't happen. But it was a heartwarming story. I'll give it that. It did have a nice ending also. And it's always good to see Rob Lowe get his comeuppance. Lord Hogarth, I don't think that's true. I don't think there's more possible chess moves than atoms in the universe. I think there's more possible chess games than atoms in the universe. I don't think there could be more chess moves, but hey, what do I know? I mean, I'm not one of them online chess instructors for sure. Paul Johnson, father-in-law just passed. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Paul. He was an expert. Oh, fantastic. Oh, that is cool. That is very cool, Paul. Yeah, he did have trouble with that steak quote for sure. Well, he did eventually get hurt, Big Dave. The interesting thing about watching this movie about him was that I hadn't appreciated it. I always thought of him as a big fat guy, but he actually was a pretty solid guy. He wasn't flabby. Um, he was in better shape than he appeared to be. Yeah, it is kind of sad to see those family-run businesses go under like that, Draft Fisher. No, but I do think there are more chess games than atoms in the universe, Pump. Pepe started rolling cigars. My goodness, that's a hobby. The Jerry Lewis gambit. Oh, so it's variations in moves in games. Okay, Lord Hogarth, that makes sense. That makes sense. So we both were right. Yes, couch. That would be accurate geography. I did see the Chippendale thing, Patrick, and that is kind of funny. I bet they do smoke great, Pepe. That's a steep learning curve, though. It's fantastic that you're doing so well. Oh, couch is completely unencumbered. Yes. Now I know what couch is doing. Okay. Sorry, buddy, I didn't have my brain in the right mode, but Rich B1 just put it there for me. So any of you guys that know that San Diego area, do you know the name of that little island uh, that's kind of exclusive? You have to go over a long bridge to get to it, right off the coast of San Diego. You wasn't unencumbered? Well, mom knows best, Couch. Coronado. Yes, yes. No, no, Big Dave, no. Coronado. Yeah. So I was at a conference in San Diego once. Ah, Big Dave. I was at a conference in San Diego, and we had a dinner at a restaurant on Coronado Island, and I had to get a cab to get over there. And this was probably 15 years ago. So I get in the cab and we're driving along, and we go past, if I remember right, it was a Lockheed Martin facility, and like a building on the side of the highway. It might have been Boeing, or, but I think it was Lockheed Martin. And the cab driver, yeah, just me in the cab, and we're quiet, no radio on, we're not talking or anything, just driving along, and I'm looking out the window, and he says, "You see that Lockheed Martin plant over there, or whatever it was?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "You know why all those windows are blacked out?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, that's where they take the UFOs." I said, "Really?" He said, "Oh yeah, it's a big government facility. When they shoot them down, they bring them in there to take them apart and back engineer them and everything else." Oh, okay. And now I'm thinking, how long is this ride going to be? And he says, "I don't normally take fares to Coronado." And I said, "Why not?" And he said, "The entire island is run by the Secret Service or the CIA or whatever, and they decide who gets to go in and out of there. And sometimes you never get to come back out if you go in there." And, "Oh, really?" And then he starts telling me this story about how that's where they put senators when they retire, if they know too much. They live there comfortably, but they're not allowed to leave. And if you happen to meet the wrong person and talk to them, they'll stop you before you come back over the bridge, and they won't let you leave. So when we pull into the parking lot, I'm not don't open the door, just pay me, and then you can get out of the car after you pay me. He was dead serious. He was convinced that if he talked to anybody on Coronado, there was a chance that the CIA was going to prevent him from leaving the island. And my life was in this man's hand. It might be where they put Elvis. Paul, maybe he was thinking of Balboa Island, but we were definitely going to Coronado. I recognize the name. She could figure this out, Rich. Like the Truman Show. I've never seen the Truman Show, Big Dave. I know what it's about, but you got top level clearance indeed, Cole. Yeah, Doug, I'm in that same category. They tried, but they gave up pretty quickly and just spit me back out. John Wayne had his boat there? Oh, you guys are talking about Balboa Island. Okay. Wow, Phil, that is interesting. But cabs are funny. I forget who the comedian was, but a comedian once said that there's something about driving in the back seat of a cab in New York where you're just watching the traffic fly by and, cabbies weaving in and out, and somehow it just doesn't seem real to you that this is happening, like that your life's actually in danger during all this. And it was one of those moments where I just suddenly realized the danger. Oh, at least you got the parachute, Doug. Oh, that is cool, Paul. That is really cool. Is that so, Poem? My guess is that probably wasn't a star then. Oh, Cole, I can't get her to the regular Greenbrier. I'm not getting her out there. It's kind of spooky, Poem. I believe you. I have no idea what it was, but I believe you. Glad to hear it was all fine, Flint Hill. Oh boy, Ahmed. How on earth can he try Penzance? Uh, Become friends with somebody that has Penzance. That's the best answer. And what's most similar? I couldn't tell you. Somebody out there will know though. What what could Ahmed try that's similar to Penzance? Oh, I'm sure they found us, Pepe. They just don't want anything to do with us. Germain 1820, is that your suggestion, Cole, for Penzance? We got a couple votes for Quiet Nights and H&H Latakia Flake. funny. I'm pretty certain that Penzance is what I used to get when they were out of Bengal slices. Which, if I'm right about that, it was either Penzance or Squadron Leader. Squadron Leader sounds more reasonable, doesn't it? Maybe it was Squadron Leader. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. It was a long time ago. I'm out of Haunted Bookshop now. Well, the pipe is out of Haunted Bookshop now. So we're going to have some Carter Hall in a minute. Glen Hill would rather hang out with the pirates of Penzance. I hear one of them is the very model of a modern. I haven't had that much. I really haven't. The very model of a modern major general. There we go. Oh, how is the Bengal slices white? I've only had the red. I think the red. I've only had the remake of the original, and I've had the original too. That's what I used to smoke back in the day. Well, it was sort of the treat when I wasn't smoking number 10 Downing Street. Oh, was Squadron Leader a big YTPC thing, Phil? That was probably before my time. Fusiliers ration is similar to Bengal slices. I like Bengal slices a bit more. Does Jimmy Aiken love Gilbert and Sullivan? I don't know, Flint Hill. Oh, it's without the topping, the white. Okay. Oh, okay, Peter. You'll have to let me know what you think of it. If it's without the anise topping, it's probably pretty good. Mushroom leg will take all the Penzance. And says that the Latakia flake from H&H is close. Never had Skiff mixture, Phil. That's one that I missed out on. I don't like Latakia foam. I used to, not anymore. Oh, 1820 is Penzance. Okay. That kind of makes sense, actually. You know, I've had Syrian Latakia recently, and it is definitely different. And I thought that's why I went off Latakia. I thought maybe it was because of the switch to Cyprian, but it's not. The Latakia that I remember smoking doesn't exist. And I don't think it ever existed. I think I just have this twisted memory of what it was like, or my taste changed or something. It's very strange. The stuff I had to smoke for the contest was it was Latakia and Orientals, and it was pretty awful actually. It wasn't. I shouldn't say that. It just there wasn't anything to it except for that sort of Balkany Latakia Oriental flavor. I like to have something else with it, you know. Oh, I know I had other things to tell you. I got to give you updates on my father-in-law and my brother. So my father-in-law is in the hospital right now because he fell out of bed. Um, had a bunch of nurses and stuff in today, and they forgot to secure him in his bed, and he rolled out. Um, the only reason he's in the hospital is he's taking blood thinners, and they wanted to check him because, blood thinners. Um, but he's doing okay. He's I mean he's honestly not doing great, but he's doing about as well as could be expected, really. So uh, good for him, and I hope he keeps on. I think his birthday is Sunday, and he will be 93 years old. So happy birthday, Ray. I know you're not watching, but hopefully you feel me thinking about you. And guys, I appreciate your prayers for him. My brother is doing amazing. He went to see the doctors earlier this week. He had to get a colonoscopy and biopsy. The colonoscopy was really primarily to get another biopsy. So he's now at the biopsy number 6, and they still can't find cancer, but they're still insisting that it's cancer. Um, I don't know. It's very strange. But the doctors are saying that they can't believe how well he's doing. They thought he would not make it, and he's healing and getting strong, and he's probably going to be just fine. So good for him. I'm proud of him for fighting through all this. And my wife isn't sure. And I only talked to her for about 10 minutes. They're not sure who didn't secure the gate, so they haven't said that, Jeffrey. Oddly enough. Thank you guys for all the prayers and kind thoughts. Absolutely, mushroom leg, no relation. I didn't know your name was Ray, so I'm glad to know that. I didn't know you liked Balkan Sobrani, Michael. Oh yes, the verdict on my car. Yeah, that's another one. No, Lord Hogarth, down, down. At least not yet, buddy. So I did hear from. Thank you, Big Dave. So I heard from the dealer yesterday. So they weren't supposed to look at the car for another 2 weeks, but they somehow managed to find time, which I find interesting. Um, so they said it needs a new engine. They said that the inside is all torn up. I don't understand that because the darn thing ran fine. I don't know how that's possible, but they say it needs a new engine. And by new, they mean used. And to do that is going to be $4,500, $4,500. And I am going back and forth. I was supposed to call them today, and I forgot. I didn't forget. I was just thinking about it, and I ran out of time. Um, the car's 14 years old. It's got 120,000 miles on it. So on the one hand, it's time for a new car anyway. But I don't want a new car, and I like this car, and it's got nothing else wrong with it. It's been very reliable. Um, yes, Big Dave. Yes. Uh, Thank you, Phil. I would love that if you were closer. That would be great. Uh, so on the one hand, putting $4,500 into a 14-year-old car seems ridiculous, but on the other hand, it's a car I really like, and I can't find anything like that on short notice. And that's a down payment on a new car plus, a year's worth of payments is going to be about that much at least. So if I get the new engine in and it runs for a year, I've made the money back. So, yeah. And then there are some issues with Hyundai engines. It is a Hyundai. And I was chatting with Phil about this yesterday, and earlier today, I think Couch pointed this out to me as well, that, you may not be much better off putting a new engine in, so maybe the better thing to do is to put the new engine in so it's running and then sell it, and recoup the cost that way, because right now it's not worth very much. I don't know. I'm still trying to decide. I think there's a right now 60+% chance that I'm going to have the engine put in. Uh, yeah, Phil, I've thought that too. Um, and I thought about maybe taking it someplace for a second opinion, but then I got to have it towed, and you know. Richard is a Hyundai Elantra Touring, 2015. They only made the Touring for I think 2 years, and it's great. It's the Elantra frame, but it's got it's basically like a station wagon on an Elantra frame. And for me, for fishing and that kind of stuff, or getting wood for woodworking projects and all, it's just fantastic. Buy a 4x4 quarter-ton pickup truck. Palm, I would consider it, but it's 120,000 miles, Paul. Yeah, Phil, it's good advice. It's good advice, but I've got this aversion to Toyota and Honda. I don't know. It's strange. I've always been a Ford guy, and I would have loved to have gotten a Ford Ranger. I had a '94 Ford Ranger that I loved dearly. Uh, my wife totaled it, and thank God she was not hurt in the accident, but I miss that truck. I'm really glad that she wasn't hurt. I tease her all the time about that. Uh, so, a truck like that I'd love. I don't want a big truck. I just can't justify it, and I'm not used to driving anything that big. Um, so I don't know. And the fact is, if I knew this was going to happen, I would have spent the last 6 months looking at cars and stuff and trying to decide what I want. But you're right, Peter. You're right. Put a new soul on it. That's a good way to think about it. Oh, there you go, Big Dave. It was a small cab, Flint Hill. It really was. But it was just me and my wife at the time. Actually, we got the two dogs, and this is terrible. They used to ride in the back of the truck. We put a bungee cord across and put their leashes on it. They were happy as could be. And when we'd go shopping, we'd use that bungee cord. We'd run it through all the plastic bags, the handles of the plastic bags. Uh, yeah, those were good times. But I've got a lot of problems finding a car, so I don't like all the computer stuff. And I got to tell you about my wife's spooky car. Um, I really like a standard, and it's just darn hard to find anything in a standard anymore. Uh, so what am I going to do? I'm probably going to wind up going with something used anyway. Are you talking about the new Ford Rangers, Phil? Jim F., I just had a chance to buy I think it was a 2012 Toyota Tacoma off of my wife's cousin's son, I don't know what that is to me, but a relative. He just needed to get rid of it and wanted to have money for something, and he was going to sell it for 10,000. And I seriously considered it, but then decided that it was just bigger than what I wanted at the time. But gee, I kind of wish I had done that. It was in really good shape. Is that what a second cousin is, Rich? Could be your last car, Lord Hogarth. You know, it's funny, when I was shopping for this car, and this is back in 2014, I said something to my wife about, I don't know, we were looking at whatever car, and I said, that's probably more than I want to spend. And she said, my wife is wonderful. She's so good to me. She said, well, get what you want, because after all, this might be your last car. And I don't know what she meant by that, but I told a friend of mine, and every time something happens to my car, he says, oh no. Child of a cousin is a second cousin. Okay. But it's my wife's second cousin. Does that make it my second cousin-in-law? I'm sorry, I'm just being silly now. Uh, so my wife's car is spooky. I'm going to load up a second pipe. I've got my Nerup here, which, by the way, my wife purchased for me in Los Angeles at Kramer Tobacco. Rest in peace, Kramer Tobacco. You were a great shop. She thought the little accent piece on that was pretty, and that's how I got this pipe. And I never would have bought in Europe, but she wanted it, and it's a great pipe. I'm really happy I have it. And I'm going to pack some Carter Hall. Carter Hall. And we'll talk about Carter Hall Day, which I missed. Carter Hall is 58 years old. Oh, 68 years old. Carter Hall is 10 years younger than me. But yeah, my wife's spooky car. So I'm driving back from Columbus in the thing, and it does weird stuff. Like if you come to a stoplight, it turns the engine off and stuff. I've talked about this before. But I figured out that you can turn that off. It tells you when it wants you to take a coffee break. And it's very strange because it doesn't seem to care when you last stopped. Kramer Tobacco's across from Jerry Tobacco. I didn't see a Jerry Tobacco, but I can't say that I look that well, Rich. So, I stopped for lunch, and, it was like a 20-minute stop, and I get back in the car. 5 minutes later, it says, time to take a coffee break. I don't want to take a coffee break, but there's nothing I can do. There's no button to turn it off or anything. So it goes away, and then 10 minutes later, it says, time to take a coffee break. And it keeps doing this. And it's very annoying. But that's not what's spooky. What's spooky is I decided to use the cruise control. Now, my cruise control on my 2015, 2014, 2015, 2015. You get up to the speed you want to go, you press cruise control set, and it goes at that speed. And if you touch the brakes or the gas, it turns it off. And if you decelerate, it's off. And then if you accelerate back to that speed, it latches again, and it stays on at that speed. And that's what I'm used to. So I'm driving along, I decide to put the cruise control on. It says, safety conditions are not met. And I thought, well, maybe it knows that I'm exceeding the speed limit, because I'll usually set cruise control like 5 miles per hour above the speed limit. I couldn't figure it out. So I tried it a couple more times, and then it just worked. And I didn't know why. I eventually figured out why. So I'm driving along, and cruise control's on and all that, and a car pulls in front of me, changing lanes. And my car decelerates. And I thought, oh, the cruise control turned off. And then that car does what it wants to do and moves back in the other lane, and the car starts to accelerate and goes back to where the cruise control was set. I didn't touch anything. Just did it all by itself. Eventually, I figured out what it does. It maintains 3 car lengths between you and the car in front of you, which is, what you're supposed to do. That's why I wouldn't set the cruise control, because I was closer than 3 car lengths. So it actually figures this out for you and slows down and speeds up to keep you at that distance. I gotta say, I'm impressed by that, but it's a little spooky. I know, Michael. I know. I hope I get to be less of a baby. Exactly, has been. You think you're in control, but you're not. All right, Couch. Glad you're done with work there, buddy. Enjoy the cigar. They are preachy, Michael. No, it's a Hyundai, Jim, not a Toyota. Well, honestly, I don't know if I want to turn it off. I mean, it'd be great for my wife because she tends to tailgate people. She doesn't know she's doing it because she thinks it's normal, but now I, of course, want to play with this. I want to find out, you know, how much will it decelerate? It can't brake, right? I assume it can't put the brakes on, but there's no way I can test that. Yeah, this doesn't apply the brakes, Phil. It just downshifts, I think. Tuning up the pipes, huh, Rich? Good stuff. I'll tell you the other stupid thing I did with the car. Last night when I was going to the chiropractor, before I stopped and had that ridiculous beer, I get in the car and I plug my phone, and then the phone automatically connects up through the entertainment system in the car, which is nice because I don't like to listen to anything on the radio that much, and I've got uh, like podcasts and some music on the phone and stuff like that. So I turn that on and start driving, and there's no sound. And I'm like, geez, so what's going on? Why is there no sound? And it's playing on the phone and all that. So I'm driving along and I'm turning up the volume. I'm turning up the volume. Turning up the volume, and there's like no sound. And I'm driving along. And I'm like, good Lord, it's hot. I was turning up the heat. There's a temperature setting, so it doesn't have heat and air conditioning. It just has temperature setting, and so I had it up to 80 degrees. It was like 86 outside, and it was still blowing hot air on me. Yeah. The reason why the radio wasn't playing is I didn't remember to turn it on. So yeah, I'm just not meant for this high tech stuff. Phil's writing in fancy script. I don't know what that means, Phil. Oh my goodness, Couch, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, that must be very difficult. I sure hope he's okay. Already have a toaster, Michael? It depends, Big Dave. A lot of times I don't really listen to talk radio because I well, honestly, I don't even know what the talk radio stations are here. I sometimes will listen to sports talk, but that gets really boring really fast. So most of the time, I listen to different podcasts and or radio. And when I listen to radio, it's I have XM, so there's a couple channels there I like, and they're very odd. I mean, I like Symphony Hall. I like Willie's Roadhouse, the 40 station. So the old time radio channel. So I'll listen to that a lot. The old time radio, like the Shadow and things like that. That's great for a long road trip. John's pipe journey is in. How you doing, John? He's a good. Well, Catch, if you think he's a good man, he must be a very good man. And we'll definitely be thinking of him and offering up some prayers for him, buddy. Ah, yes, Michael Malice. Couch turned me on to Michael Malice. I have to admit, he's a bit of a guilty pleasure for me. I would not get in a driverless vehicle if you paid me, Pepe. Oh, Art Bell was wonderful, Phil, and good to fall asleep to too. Ah, Peter's moving on to some Pegasus and a Rattray Majesty sandblasted finish pipe. Very nice. Ah, so Carter Hall. Man, it's been a while. I used to start every day with a bowl of Carter Hall, and I just a couple years ago, it just didn't sit right anymore with me, and it's it's interesting. So this is old stock Carter Hall. I've got a couple tubs still from before they switched over to making it in the Dominican Republic. So this is some old stuff, and it the topping is it got stronger over the years, I think, and I've had some of the new stuff that's made in the Dominican Republic, and I think it's better. I think it's cleaner. It doesn't have that topping that I'm tasting. And again, I'm very sensitive to chemical additives, so it might just be my palate. Uh, but this is good. It's nice to have some Carter Hall. But yeah, I used to smoke it every day, and I feel really bad that I missed Carter Hall Day. I put it on my calendar, so I get a reminder about it, and I got a reminder about it. For some reason, I was absolutely fixated on the fact that it was August 15th. I don't know why. And the reminder went off on Tuesday night? No, Monday night, because it was the 13th. Actually, the 13th was Carter Hall's birthday. Uh, so whatever day that was, the day before, the night before, I get the reminder and I go, oh, look at that. I must have set it a couple days ahead of time so I wouldn't forget. And then yesterday I realized, oh, it really was on whatever day that was. So I missed it. I didn't promote it. But for those of you that don't know, Carter Hall is one of the only tobaccos I know of that we actually know the date that it was born, and that was August 13th. And it is 68 years old. 68 and you can't dry that stuff out, Phil. You just can't. Holy cow. You're right, Patrick. Where did the time go? I had no idea we were that late. Huh. So Carter Hall Day is August 13th, lymphoma. So you like it too, Couch. Gotcha. It's just cleaner, I think. It was your birthday. You know, we might have even talked about that a couple weeks ago, lymphoma. I kind of have a vague memory of that. So you can't forget it then. He did call it the Twinkie of the tobacco world, Couch. And he was right about that. Ah, thank you, Peter. Yes, please do hit that thumbs up button, guys. It helps get the word out and build the community. What's our next pipe thing to celebrate, Pepe? I don't know. We should plan Stupid Joke Night because we missed it last year. And before you know it, once we hit October, everything gets crazy with the holidays and everything. Yes, I am in the Four Dot Club thanks to Doug Owen. Me and our buddy Tim Fournier and Couch as well. Carter Hall is eligible for Social Security. Yes. It's a loose association of people that have four dot Sassinis, John, and it's not meant to be anything other than a joke. Oh, they didn't actually toss you out, did they, Phil? Because I I've only done that once or twice on Instagram, and it's never been anything other than a joke. Phil makes good pipes for sure, Paul. Searchlight Piper, hello. Good to see you tonight. Okay, gotcha, Phil. By the way, I've completely forgotten to do the Inspirio bot uh, web thing that we were doing for a couple weeks there, and nobody's complained, so I'm just not going to do it again. It didn't seem to be very popular. What great advice in general, Phil. In all things, we should let it be what it's meant to be. Hard to do, though. We still have a little bit to go here. Are you thanking me for dropping the Inspiro bot, Michael? I mean, it was slightly less popular than the theme song, which is hard to believe. Fair enough. So I'll tell you one last story of the week here. Um, so last time we talked, I told you about the oil spill in the driveway, which made my wife upset. So I found this guy that does concrete cleaning in the area. He's a company, but it's a small company, and had really good reviews and everything. So I called him up, and he came out and looked at it, and he said, it's new. So we just had the driveway and sidewalks redone about a year ago. And he said, this is relatively new concrete, so there's not a lot I can do. He said if I really go in and power wash it, it could actually cause some damage. I don't want to do that, but we got some degreaser we can put down on it, and we'll scrub it, and all that. And it was really nice. And he talked about it. He said, I think it'll look better though. It's probably worth doing. So we agreed, and he gave me his price, which was quite reasonable for the job. And he did the job. And the fact is, it looks a little bit better. Not much better, but a little bit better. And I said, well, you tried. It was all good faith and everything. And I knew that this was a possibility. And we both agreed that the concrete's going to darken over time, and it's probably not going to be that noticeable in the end. So it's all good. So he says to me, we also do house washing. We do the siding and everything. Would you be interested in a quote? And it's something that I've been thinking about doing for a while because we have some like lichen growing on some spots and all that. And I said, yeah, but if you want to, walk around and give me a quote. So he later that day sends me a quote that was ridiculously affordable. I mean, it's hard for me to imagine how they can do it for this price. But he applied the full amount that I had paid him for the driveway to the cost of the house cleaning as a discount because he said that, they weren't able to remove the stain and he felt bad about taking the money for them. And I thought, that's unbelievably good customer service. So I said, sure, it was really affordable. And they showed up today. They were here at 8:45. They were here, probably were done about 10:30. And it looks fantastic. I mean, they did an incredible job, and really quickly, really well done. Yeah, so I was very, very impressed with this guy, and I just can't believe that it is integrity, Phil, and it's rare. It's very rare. Uh, but it was him and a helper, and with the equipment and the soap and everything they had to use, I have no idea how he could have possibly made money today. You know, Phil, I agree with you on that, but my wife doesn't. A vinyl pressing. Oh, mushroom leg, that was a good one. Chip and seal the entire driveway, yeah. Ah, Pepe, that's so nice for you to say. I'm glad you Yeah, Lord Hogarth, I've seen a lot of things like suggesting that sort of thing. Ajax, barkeepers for what I could, but you know what? It doesn't really bother me that much. My wife's okay that we tried to get it out, and in a year's time, you won't even know it's there. Pressure washing trash cans, really, Phil? The problem is now the siding on the house looks so good. I gotta makes everything else look like crap. So I got all this work I gotta do now. And when I was moving stuff away from the walls for them to be able to get to everything, I discovered there's a part of the foundation that is not in good shape. I mean, it's not in terrible shape, but there's like, so it's like a stucco foundation wall, and behind the stucco is cinder block, and that's up there because I'm down below ground in the basement. So it's like the top section of cinder block behind me. Um, the cinder block that's right at the ground has some parts of it that are crumbling. So I have to find out what's the right sort of concrete mix to put in something like that. And yeah, the new project. An Appaloosa driveway, Michael? Sounds good. Kitty litter was the first thing I did, White Ash. And for reasons I still don't know why, but we had a bag of kitty litter in the garage. I've never owned a cat. Um, my wife bought it for something, so that was fortunate. I got it down right away, and it did soak up a lot. And I also had some play sand. I don't know why we have that either. I put that down. Uh, so it's a lot better than it could have been. Appaloosa horses. Yes, yes, Dalmatian. Got you now, Michael. I understand. I've been a little slow with the humor tonight, guys, but it's good to be back, though. And by the way, thank you all for putting up with my absence last week. I hope you made good use of your time last Friday. And it's good to be back. I'll have to look into him, Phil. I don't think I am. I don't think I am following him, so I'll definitely have to look into that. Well, folks, as Patrick has pointed out, time has really flown. I'm quite shocked that we're 7 minutes over time already. But it's been a lot of fun. It's been great to be back after a week's break and to see all you and spend some time with you, and to drink the last of the orange creamsicle beer. No, orange creamsicle milkshake beer. So, oh, look at that! It's got something in the bottom. Ugh. Oh, look! I don't know what that was. I hope you all have a great Friday, great weekend. I'll be back Sunday. I'll be telling stories about the pipe show on Sunday and showing you my pipe show loot and whatnot. So, and we'll of course be back next Friday with another one of these guys. So until then, you all take care, and I'll see you real soon. So bye, everybody.